This is the Healthy Business Podcast, the show for ambitious business owners who want to grow and scale in a healthy way. I'm Sarah Cook, and I'll be sharing with you tips, inspiration, and proven methods from leading business experts, entrepreneurs, and health and wellness professionals to help you grow your business with more income and having more impact, but in a way that works for you. Because when you have clarity and strategy, you can achieve the results you want. Hello and welcome to the Healthy Business Podcast. I am Sarah Cook, and today I want to be talking about taking radical responsibility to explode your business results, because we really are the creator as well as the solution of all that happens within our lives, within our businesses. And when we move to being that decision maker, to take responsibility, to own what happens for everything that we're experiencing, our thoughts, the events, everything that's going on, that's when we can start really shifting the growth of the results of your business. So we want to come from this from a place of, actually, I'm the creator of everything. And when we do that, now we're going to get mixed feelings. And even just listening to this right now, you might be thinking, oh, that feels a little bit challenging. That feels a bit confrontational. Now, it can feel like that, but it can also feel so empowering. And I want to share with you today what we need to lean into. I want to share with you how we can take radical responsibility. I'm going to give you some examples from my journey where I've had to really step up and shift those mindsets that have had incredible shifts for my business and literally exploded the results of my business. So we know that every experience, every thought, every action, everything that we do is down to ourselves. And this is not about other people. So we might be thinking that something has happened and that's not our fault. We might be thinking that someone said something and we've responded in a certain way. We take responsibility, or we need to take responsibility for how we're feeling, the actions we then take off the back of that. And this, I want you to use this episode as a really useful reflection on where you might be making excuses right now, whether it's in your life, whether it's in your business. Where are you maybe blaming or complaining about certain things? Again, in your business or in your personal life. Because when we do this, we start putting the focus externally, and we start putting the focus outside of ourselves. We start putting the focus outside of our business. When actually, as the CEO of your business, as the CEO of yourself, we need to be taking this internally. And when we move out of those excuses, when we move out of blaming somebody or something, when we stop complaining and we lean really into the growth of everything, of what we have available to us, we can then start asking really, really powerful questions. Now, some of those questions include, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me right now? And that's when it helps explode your results. Because if we take every situation as a growth opportunity, if we take every situation as a learning opportunity, we have no reason but to grow. So things to think about, what is this situation, or what is this person, or what is this moment, what is this comment teaching me? What is it allowing me to be grateful for? Sometimes it's about putting that mirror reflection up to ourselves. Someone might have said something that's hurt you. Someone might have said something that's triggered you. You might have been annoyed by a certain situation. Maybe it's a client, maybe it's a partner, someone in your family, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's something that you've read on social media. Maybe it is something that you've seen in the news. Your response to any of those things is a reflection of you, okay? And a reflection of who you are. This isn't about blaming and complaining situations or comments or people. This is about us taking 100% responsibility, radical responsibility for your response, and leaning into why you might have responded in a certain way, thinking about what those following actions have been off the back of that response. Now, it really can be pretty challenging to think about this. So if someone does say something that you're like, oh, I'm not liking that, or someone says something that really annoys you, you might even be listening to this and thinking, this is hard. I don't want to do this. This feels uncomfortable. But actually, that's where the power comes from. This is when you're going to explode the results. Because when we get comfortable with being uncomfortable, when we start pushing those edges, when we start taking complete responsibility for our own results, that's when you're going to have the explosion on your results. So it can be a deeply challenging thing, but it also positions us in that place of growth. It leads us into an opportunity mindset because everything becomes a learning opportunity. Everything becomes a growth opportunity. So when we realize how powerful you actually are, that's when we take radical responsibility. We don't want to be a passenger in our life. We certainly don't want to be a passenger in our own business. So we have to take that responsibility. We have to look at the things that we can control, the things that we can do. Now, the moment that we move into blame or even complaining about something, that takes us right into victim mode. It takes us right into negativity. It takes us right into scarcity sometimes. And that's when manifestation completely stops, right? And it also means, just purely because of the way that our brain works, that we start looking for validation. So if you see something that feels negative, you're actually going to start seeing more of it. You're going to be pulling more of those negative vibes towards you. You're going to look for more opportunities to blame things. You're going to look for more opportunities to complain about something, even if you're not realizing this. So this can happen completely subconsciously, but it's not great, right? If you want to explode your results, we don't want to be in victim mode. We don't want to be in blame and complain mode. We certainly don't want to be in a space of negativity, because the energy we're going to give off is what is going to be mirror reflected back to us. So you might have walked into a room, and we've all experienced this. You've walked into a room and you can just tell the energy feels off. So if you're in that energetic space, that's the energy you're going to be giving off without you even realizing it when you're creating content, whether you're doing all those things. It's not until we switch the story that we can start being uncomfortable and recognizing that it has to be a little bit uncomfortable because we're changing the story. When we're changing things, when we're getting uncomfortable with that, that is when the growth is going to happen. So how many times have you woken up and said, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. I haven't slept very well. And then you go on to have a really rubbish day. Whereas if there's a reframe in there of going, actually, I've had enough sleep for what I need to get done today, that changes that narrative that you probably will get everything done that you want to that day. Or maybe it's something somebody said. Maybe there is something that you have seen a comment on the media or something on social media and it's triggered you. I want you to think about why that's triggered you. I want you to have that reflection on what's being created there. It might be some client feedback. You might have run a program and one person has made a tiny little comment, or you've taken it in a slightly different way. How does that affect you and your actions going forward? Now, I've called myself out on this a number of times where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm not delivering enough. And I'm like, hang on a second. I am over delivering on this. It's that client that's not showing up. She's not doing the things that she should be doing. She's prioritizing all the things, and that's why she's not getting the results. And it can obviously create a feeling of hurt or sadness. We might not choose those feelings kind of consciously, but we've responded in a certain way to whatever has just happened. But we can't move through that. We can't get those positive results if we don't get curious. So thinking about, you might suddenly think about an instance or a comment right now as you're listening to this and thinking back to something that's happened. I want you to think about why you responded in a certain way. Because when we do that, then we can take the power back to ourselves rather than putting the power to somebody else. When it's your business, when it's your life, you want to be in control of it. You want to have the power within you. When we start blaming somebody else, when we start blaming something that is outside of our control, when we start disconnecting that energy, that's when we lose the power. So we have to bring it internally. So there's 4 questions that you can ask yourself. Now, those 4 questions that I want you to think about: what is this teaching me? What's the learning in this? How can I grow from this? And how can I understand more about myself, the world, or other people? So those 4 key questions are really powerful when we're stepping into something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. Because it could be something really, really small that's triggered you. But again, we get to choose how we respond. We get to choose to grow from it, or we get to choose to be frustrated by it, to be annoyed by it, to feel negative about it. When we get to make new choices, that's when we take radical responsibility. That's when you're going to explode your results. So there might be something that you feel like isn't working right now in your business. So instead of thinking, oh, this isn't working, I'm not getting the results that I want, it's not how I want it to be, instead, get curious. Take the information that you have available to you and think about what is available. What could you do? Decide how you respond to what is going on for you right now. So, see this as a bit of an invitation today and mirror reflect how you're responding to something that's going on in your business. If you're not getting the results that you're wanting to right now, if you're feeling stuck, this is my invitation to have that mirror reflection. What actually is going on for you right now? How can you use this as an opportunity to learn from it, to learn about yourself, maybe even think about the type of support that you want that's going to help you unlock that? As I said earlier, you might be triggered by this conversation right now. You might be triggered by what you're hearing. So if you are finding this hard, then think about why you are finding it hard. Lean into why you might be feeling a bit triggered right now, because if you are, there's something going on. And if you're not, then great, lean into that as well. Get curious. What's triggering you? What triggers you outside, externally? For many people, what's going on in the world at the moment? We're watching the media, we're watching the news, we're hearing all this sort of negative narrative going through. And this isn't about ignoring what's going on. This is about taking responsibility about what can you do about the situation? What can you do about how you feel about the situation? What is this teaching you? What can you do? What can you implement for yourself, for your business, that allows you to explore that and allows you to live in a space where you are taking responsibility for your thoughts, for your actions, for the growth that you can lean into? Getting curious is so, so powerful. So those 4 questions that I shared with you, what's it teaching you? What are you learning? How can you grow from this? How can I understand more about myself? Those are really perfect opportunities to explore, to have that responsibility to actually explode your business results. So this week, it is all about taking radical responsibility on your business, on your growth opportunities, on yourself, and what is available to you. I also want you to consider the 4 main bottlenecks that are really common when you're growing your business. The first one is around client delivery. Are you comfortable signing more clients into your offers? Do you have the capacity for it? Have you got ways that you can expand that capacity, expand the energy around that? Do you have the processes set up to be able to do that? The second one is around leads and lead generation. Are you able to attract new leads every day? Do you have a pipeline of clients, potential clients that want to work with you? Are you booking new sales calls every week? Do you have that consistent flow, that pipeline of leads? The third one is sales. And this is a lot around, are you able to make those sales? If you're having conversations with people and you're not converting them, what's going on for you? Do you need more capacity from a support team member to help you make sales, whether it's in the DMs? Are you not able to have enough calls? Do you feel like your time is under capacity, that everything that you wish you had more time, that you just can't fit everything in? And the fourth one is about you. And this is about your mindset, your energy, your belief, your identity, even your schedule, your time, your planning. Are you actually focusing on the right things to grow and to scale your business? Do you have enough time every week to work on the needle movers? Are you making progress every week? Are you celebrating your successes every week? Or do you feel like you're running from one fire to another, managing mistakes, reworking stuff, getting distracted, feeling like you're under time pressure all the time, rather than focusing on the things that are actually going to make a difference? Because again, when you put that mirror reflection up to you, are you taking responsibility for the growth of your business? Which of those 4 out of client delivery, lead generation, sales, and yourself needs some work on? What do you need to take radical responsibility on for your explosive growth to happen? How can you unlock that next level of success? So really juicy questions to ask yourself, especially as we're heading towards the end of the year. You might be starting to plan for next year as well. Really leaning into that. It is going to feel uncomfortable. But for me, when we start pushing our edges, when we start moving out of our comfort zone, that is going to feel challenging. But it's also where the magic happens. Nothing ever changes if you stay stuck within your comfort zone. So push those edges. Ask those difficult questions of yourself. get that mirror reflection up there and explore what you can take radical responsibility on for you to move forward and explode your business in a way that feels good for you. Now, I'm taking radical responsibility as well with this podcast. So this episode is actually the final one of this season. And I'm taking a bit of a break from the Healthy Business Podcast because I'm leaning into some growth opportunities and the next phase of what the Healthy Business Podcast looks like. So until the next episode comes out, come and follow me on Instagram at Sarah Cook Coaching. Head across to my website, sarahcookcoaching.com, for loads of free resources. Check out my book, check out our YouTube channel, so many different things that are going to keep you on your journey. And if this episode has resonated with you and you're feeling stuck, it's brought up a lot of things, but you don't know how to move forward with it, drop me a message on Instagram, so at Sarah Cook Coaching. Drop me a message with the word radical, and I will personally, I'm in all of my DMs myself, so I will personally give you some tips on how you can move forward, how you can get unstuck, because I want you to have explosive growth. Everything is available to you when we take radical responsibility. So I will see you very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for being part of the Healthy Business Podcast. Thanks for listening to the Healthy Business Podcast. You can get a copy of my best-selling book, Healthy You, Wealthy Business, over on my website, sarahcookcoaching.com/book. In there, you'll find practical advice, useful tools, and real actionable steps to help you be your best self and build a wildly successful business with ease so that you can create a limitless life in the way that you choose.